This is Photizo.
Hello friends, my name is Taiwo Lemoshe. I want to welcome you to another episode of Photizo. This is a platform where I share God's word to edify, to encourage, and to strengthen people. Today, I just want to share something very important with you. I was in a discussion with one of my beloved, just a few days ago, and he was telling me something about that happened to him. I remember that he had a great job, at some point, and then he was frustrated out of that job, as it were. So he had to leave that job, and had to get another job. But thank God, God is actually blessing him on this new job, and only to now remember that Trump just brought out a new policy after he became president, and the policy affected that other company where he was frustrated out from. So apparently that company would have to shut down because the US has withdrawn the funds from that organization. And then where God has put him now, nothing is touching him there. And I said, Pastor, I thank God for what happened, that I was for. If not, I would still be there. I would have been affected because virtually most of the staffs would have to be let go. And that means they have to start seeking other employment. You see, and that stirred something inside of me. How do we react to things when things happen negatively to us? Many of us believers, we have this mentality that nothing negative should happen to us. Nothing should go against what God has told us and all that. But the truth of the matter is that many times God has a way of shifting us from certain places where we have become so comfortable and pushing us into better things that he has for us. But because our eyes cannot see what God sees, we feel that this thing that I have, this job that I have, this business I'm doing is the best I can ever do. This is the best I can ever get to in my life. But God says there's something bigger for you, but you are not seeing it the way God sees it. So what will God do? Many times he would often frustrate us out of our comfort zone so that we can enter into the fullness of what he has for us. So when he was being frustrated on his job, he felt it was the devil attacking him. He felt, oh, this person doesn't like me. But unfortunately, did not know that God was behind the scene, because God knew what will happen in a few years down the line. And God needed to shift him and reposition him somewhere else. But because we don't see well. So we often go against God and say, God, why is God doing this? Why is this happening to me? If you knew that there is a blessing in that, there's a blessing disguised in that seeming disappointment, you will thank God in every disappointment you have. The Bible talks about Jesus. The Bible says, if they had known, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. In 1 Corinthians chapter 2. So when the devil thought he was getting rid of Jesus, he was actually helping Jesus achieve his purpose of dying, being buried, and being resurrected on the third day. So you see, when the devil thinks he's attacking you, he does not even know that what he's doing inadvertently is helping you to actually actualize your purpose in God. So when God told Joseph, showed him the dream of how the stars, the moon, everything is going to bow down to him, and the sheaves bowing down to him, he thought it was going to just be a straight walk in the park and then just go and just become a big boy and then everybody will pay obeisance to him. He never knew that there is a plan. So God first dislodged him from his comfort zone. In his father's house, where he was loved, he was preferred, he was given a coat of many colors, God says that is not where your destiny is situated. He said, for you to become what I've shown you, you need to go through the process. And the process meant that he needed to be taken off. That coat of many colors had to be taken off. That thing that made him look good. That thing that made him look, oh, you are the best. That thing that is your support system. That thing that you take your pride in. That thing that you are already zeroed in and you are comforted in. And then what's the word to use now? You are so... You just feel that, oh, I have it already. Everything is set. Everything is done. God says the first thing we need to do is derobe you. And derobing means we have to empty you of the things that has taken your heart and you feel that you have gotten to your peak. God says the first thing is to derobe you. And then once it was derobed, it was thrown into the pit and then wants to be killed. But God said, no, that's not the plan. The plan is not for him to be killed. The plan is for him to be transported to a place called Egypt. And we have something in a few years' time for him to do there to preserve the same people that were trying to, to get rid of him. So, and then it was sold, and that was the beginning. And then to him, he would have been thinking that, oh, everything is happening anti what God showed me, but it was God's process. God taking him out of his comfort zone, because in his father's house where he was loved, there is no way he would have preserved the entire generation. So God needed to move him. And sometimes when these things are happening to us, we think that God is wicked, life is wicked, men are wicked. But when you have the benefit of foresight, or when things have happened and you have the benefits of hindsight, you will say, thank God for the people that disappointed me. Thank God for the people that acted to me in an untoward way. And because what they have done without knowing that they have moved me into the fullness of God for my life. So that is why you should not fight people when things happen. You should not try to see how you can resolve the issue, how you can sort yourself out. Because self-help, like Message Bible says, is not help. It actually complicates the matter. So what do? The first thing you need to do is go to God, say, Lord, what are you doing? You see, the best thing everybody should do is ask God questions. He says, come, let us reason together. God is a reasoning God. It's not just a God that leads with fiat, this is what you must do and you can't question. No, we are not saying question God. We are saying ask questions. That, Lord, okay, now I'm being frustrated at my work. What are you trying to do? Is there anything you want me to see here that I'm not seeing? Or else you'll be reacting from the perspective of the flesh. And the flesh will complicate the matter and will make it worse. And you will lose on both sides. So what should you do? Ask God, Lord, what are you trying to do here? What is happening here? What is the wisdom of God in this situation? And then God makes you to understand that I am the one behind it. And then that makes you to glide on the storm, to glide, the same wave of the storm that is sinking, or that is the same you can glide on, because you have an understanding that this storm is meant to take me to a new destination, a new height. It's not actually to sink me. That thing that is making people sink is the same thing that can lift others, depending on our attitude to it. So the same storm that is making other iron elements to fall is the same storm that is making the plane to fly. It's the same wind that is making the plane to fly. Why? Because the plane knows that wind is for my advantage. If I can reshape, if I can maintain a shape, maintain a posture of heart, then that same storm will be the one that will lift me up, when I'm flying. So it's very good to ask God questions. Ask Lord, okay, I'm having challenge in this area. Lord, what is the wisdom here? And God will begin to show you, this is where we are taking you. You have outlived, you have outgrown that place, and you ought not to be there anymore. But because you feel that is your best, that is the pinnacle. God says, no, we are taking you stage by stage, level by level, precept by precept, line upon line. There is a destiny that we have in mind. This is not where you ought to be. And so we need to dislodge you from this place, because you have become so comfortable in this place. We need to dislodge you so that He can move you into what we have for us. And God moves you to the next level. And sometimes you get to that next level, it looks bigger, and you say, thank God, God moved me here. But you are refusing it. You are fighting it when God was moving you. Then now you have gotten to that level, you now settle and say, well, this is the best. And God says, no, it's a cubit, is 1,000 cubit after 1,000 cubit, after 1,000 cubit, until it becomes a water that you cannot walk in, that it has to carry, you have to swim in. So God says, no, you have done the first 1,000 cubit. Let's go to the next 1,000. So that when you get to the ankle, you don't get satisfied. Say, let's go to the knee. Don't get to the knee. Let's go to the waist. Well, when we get to the waist, don't get satisfied, because the same river can also be increased, but can carry you. So God says, now the next level, don't stay there. Don't get, you see, no child of God should be in a place and get comfortable. Don't get to a place and get comfortable. You see, God is always moving. And men, when they get to a certain place, they feel that this is the best of God. You see, let me tell you this. When you see people like Baba Deboye at age 83, 82, going 83 and all that, still active, and you are saying with all that redemption camp, with all those parishes, with all the things that you have, you are still, and the man says, I've not started. I'm about to start. Then you want to ask somebody who is 30, who is 40, who is 50, who says, oh, I have a 5,000 member church. I have fastest growing church in Lagos, and all the things that I see, and revival, because you had 5,000 people in your conference. Revival, we are doing mighty revival. And then a man of 83 who has seen stadiums packed, different meetings packed, and miracles consistently, and those men are still pressing. When you see Baba Kumi is still flying around in Asia, in Africa, in America, in Europe, still doing meetings here and there, still doing crusades. When you see people like Bishop still doing all those things they are doing, you're asking yourself, what are these men looking for? Have they not done enough? It is called that you have not stopped until you are called home. But for many young people, there is this quick arrival mentality because they see little results. They arrive and settle. But when God loves you, He will dislodge you so that you can move into the fullness of what He has for you. So, child of God, don't fight God when it is God who is behind the scene, orchestrating things just to push you out of your comfort zone and push you into the fullness of what He has for you. So when things happen, don't be quick to bind the devil. Don't be binding God. I can't bind God. Don't be quick to say, my enemy from my father's house, my mother's house. Yes, those things happen, but ask God question. Lord, this thing that is happening, Lord, what is happening here? Show me. Let me have an understanding. Bring illumination and light into my heart about what is happening here. And like Ephesians chapter 1 tells us, when He floods your mind with light, you will understand that, oh, this is God at work. So what do? Enjoy the ride on the way to where you are going. You understand that it's a process, because I know I will get there. The truth of the matter is, once Jesus tells you, enter that boat, we are going to the other side, no matter the storm that arises, you will get to the other side. You cannot sink in the process. Once it's God that has initiated it, it will take you successfully to the other side. No matter the storm, no matter how boisterous things are, no matter the kind of gang up and attack that comes against you, as long as it's God that initiated it, it will take you to safe arrival. So that's what I just said I should share with you on this episode. I hope this blessed you. So don't fight everything. Ask God questions. Don't go fighting and then attacking people and doing all those things that people with shallow mentality do. Go on Facebook, abuse people and all that. That's a shallow mentality. Ask God, what is happening here? So that you can be in sync. Colossians chapter 1 verse 9 as I close says we should be filled with the knowledge of His will in all wisdom and spiritual understanding. Only then can we walk worthy of the Lord, be fully pleasing to Him, and be fruitful in every good work, and other things that will happen. So it's important that we always ask, regularly check, Lord, what is happening here? Is it your will? And then God says, yes, I'm the one behind it. Because you have been disobedient, I've tried to get across to you, you have refused to move. So what do? I push you out so I can enter into the fullness of what I have for you. Thank you for watching. My name is Taiwo Lemoshe. God has blessed you.